The best way to measure the impact of any investment in your B2B website is by looking at its ability to generate pipeline for you. Most websites will be looked at through the lens of something like the visitor to contact or visitor to lead conversion rate. That's very typical in B2B marketing and in B2B website, evaluation. Benchmarks typically say that a conversion rate from visitor to contact of 1% is okay, 2% is pretty good, 5% is amazing, and so on. The problem with that measurement of website impact, of website effectiveness, is the super small percentage of those leads, which will typically be converting on ebooks, resources, pillar pages, and the like, or subscribing to your newsletter and so on, coming from all sorts of sources. The percentage of those contacts, those leads that go on to become opportunities in your pipeline and closed won revenue is so small that the visitor to lead ratio is irrelevant in terms of your pipeline generation. So we prefer and we recommend that people look at the visitor to high intent lead conversion rate. For some that will be MQL, for some it'll be SQL, for some it'll be high intent revenue opportunity or high intent lead. Whatever it is, the conversion rate from visitors to your site into that is a much more telling indicator of your website's ability to contribute to pipeline revenue and growth. Now, it'll be a much smaller percentage. You might start looking at something like 0.1%, and through a really, really successful website project that improves your UX, improves performance, improves SEO, then you might see it jump to 1%, for example. But given the conversion rate from that type of lead to opportunity and to closed won revenue, even that kind of increase from those small numbers can be significant in terms of the pound or dollar amount in terms of revenue that you generate. And furthermore, when you look at SEO best practice, UX best practice, what we think of in terms of demand generation best practice, they all lend themselves to increasing that high intent conversion rate rather than the lead generation rate. And we know that buyers don't particularly want to be leads. Switched on, savvy B2B buyers are not going to download an ebook before they decide whether they're going to talk to you or not, because they want to remain private. They want to remain anonymous. They don't want your automated email spam. They don't want the phone calls that your SDR teams are going to make. They don't want the LinkedIn messages that are going to come flying their way the minute they download a mediocre ebook on a topic. They're going to stay anonymous. They're not going to become a lead in that lead pool. And so a lot of marketing best practice these days is geared towards not creating those leads, but creating those high intent leads that are going to become pipeline. We fully support that. And it's important to measure that instead of a vanity metric, like the lead generation rate on your website. If you want to know, what your website is doing for you today, what it's doing for you if you improve it and after investing in it, and then what the possibilities are in the future if you continue to improve it, if you continue to invest in it in an ongoing way.